guys, I'm back to the boat, and you can see we have a new neighbor, Sail La Vie. I haven't met them yet, but we're going to find out who they are eventually. So let's see what we're doing today. Well, it's not the coldest I've ever been, but it's cold enough out here. My hands are already a little bit cold. I've got to get these hatches measured. I'm gonna put plywood over top of them to keep the water from spraying out while I'm working, because we've got neighbors on either side now and I don't want to get any sand or water on them. So let me take some measurements and we'll cut some plywood. And then sometime later today we're going to take the mast off the deck, I think. So maybe it'll be tomorrow, but that'll be some good video, so look forward to that. Well, sometimes you've only got a small rental car and a big sheet of plywood, and you stand out in the parking lot of the hardware store and use your battery-powered saw, and people look at you funny. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So here we go. There we go, now we got the trailer to brace the cart against so it won't roll. Alright, so the goal is to block off each one of the hatch openings. I'm going to use this bag of sand here to lean up against a piece of plywood so that it'll hold the plywood and I can screw in 2 screws from behind. So we're going to give this a shot and see how it goes. Well, my screws are just a little bit too short, but I'm going to see if I can make this work because I don't want to have to go back to the hardware store again. So, we'll move on to the next window. Hey everyone, it's Tuesday evening, maybe 4 o'clock, I don't know the exact time. I've been working like crazy inside of here. So sandblasting is going great. I actually have it sandblasted, ceiling and everything back to here. So, you know, this is the companionway right here. And I put up these curtains to protect everything in storage behind them from getting sandy and wet. So what I need to do now, stop standing in this cold water because it's very cold. You can see my breath in here. Well, maybe you guys can't, but I can. Yeah, it's a little bit over 40 degrees, maybe 42, so not terrible, but yeah. The worst part about working hasn't really been the temperature or the wetness. I mean, yes, I'm soaked and sandy. It's been the visibility, right? I mean, you got sand and water and mist coming at you, and it's really hard to see what you're doing. So the quality of some of my sandblasting is not that great. But my plan is to go over each of the sections with the hand sander, like an orbital sander or the grinder, just before we paint it, to get all the flash rust off of there and make sure just one last pass that everything is good. So yeah, the absolute perfection of sandblasting isn't what I'm going for. Yeah, so I have gone through about 1,200 pounds of sand in the past 2 days, which means that I've carried 600 pounds of sand up the ladder and sprayed it into the boat. And now tomorrow I'm going to take a day off from sandblasting and clean all of the sand out of the boat plus all of the paint that is in the sand now, and dispose of that. So 1,200 pounds of sand to move tomorrow. But it's looking great in here, so I'm happy to do that work. Yeah. Hello there. I'm in the shower, but I have my waterproof pants on, and that's because the zipper has jammed with sand, and I need to wash the sand out of it to be able to get them off. And they just need to be washed anyway because there's too much sand on them. So, yeah, we're gonna try this. Well, they are definitely waterproof. They're made by, probably can't see that, Mountain Hardware. The only complaint I have is, well, the zipper jammed and the button on the bottom is broken because it tore away from the fabric. So that sucks. But let's see if I can get the zipper open now. Yeah, so that's done. I can finally get my boot off without making a huge mess. So, success! Sometimes you have to do weird things. I feel like I do a lot of weird things though, right? Oh well, I guess I'm kind of weird. No more mast on the deck. Of course, they parked the forklift right in my shop. Last time, there's a giant pile of sand for you. Yeah, that's like half, a little less than half of the sand that I used this week while I was working. But last time you guys saw that most of the ceiling was done and most of both of the sides were done. And this week I finished pretty much all the way to the back. I haven't done the flooring next to the keel because I know the lead was down there. Well, I suspected the lead was down there. And also, this is the area where all of the water and sand collects. So it's gonna be tricky to work in there. And where the sand collects is where the metal likes to rust the most. So I've left those areas for last because I expect that there'll be sand sitting in there still a little bit more. So there you can see in the back there's a bit of white, like 3 or 4 ribs sections worth to do. That whole area in the back all the way across to the other side will take me less than a day, I think, to do that. And then the entire floor will take me a day or 2 to do. Depends on how annoying it is to spray in there with the sand collecting underneath you. And then the engine still hasn't come out. 2 weeks from now, my parents will be here to help me build a structure over top of the boat for sandblasting outside, which, good news, we got the permission to sandblast outside. Woo! Yeah, so nothing's stopping us from sandblasting now. So when they're here, I'm gonna have them help me take the engine out of there, and this last remnants of wood is gonna go away. And then I'll be able to sandblast all those areas in there without getting the engine all gummed up. But yeah, this is what I've been able to accomplish, and the curtains here are just to protect all the things that I don't want to get dirty and wet. So there's a pile of junk. Also, people keep giving me fire extinguishers, so if we have a fire on the boat, it's not going to be because it was an accident. If there's a fire on this boat, it's because I wanted there to be a fire on this boat. Or maybe because the fire extinguishers themselves caught on fire. But yeah, it won't be accidental, that's for sure. Yeah, so everything's going good. Oh, and also I verified that our 2 emergency pumps there, our hand pumps for the bilge, were working. So both of those are in good condition, and that saves me a few $100s. So let's pop back outside and take one last look at the deck. Yeah, it's nice to have our deck cleaned. Oh, I got myself a nice generator too. That's been pretty useful since there's no power here. And across the way they're working on that big barge. I'm not sure if they're tearing it apart or just reconfiguring it, but there's been a lot of metal that's been removed from it already, so I'm sure they're just reconfiguring it. It's worth a lot of money. Yeah. And there's where we're gonna be pretty soon, sailing off in that direction. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode and all of the interesting things that I've been up to. There's a lot more assembling work that's gonna go on in the next few episodes with mast repairs and buildings going up around the boat and things like that. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends that are interested, and hope we'll see you back next time.